Geht?
Geht.
Okay, we're one day out of the Ironman 30.3 World Championship in Lahti in Finland. Last session now, basically, just riding from here to the check-in, which is about 20k. We are staying a bit outside of Lahti. And after that it's only check-in, carbo loading, get some sleep, and then it's a early start tomorrow. Alarm probably at 4:15 a.m. Then start at 7:30 a.m. if it's not delayed because of fog like for the women today. But I'm feeling good for the race. Definitely prepared for this and focused on this one the whole season. And looking really forward to it. I really like the courses, really like Finland. It's gonna be a strong field and some pretty fast racing tomorrow. But looking forward to it and hope for a good result. Let's go.
But you should act like how you did before.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you as well. He's a baby. He can't do it himself.
No.
On your mark.
Hey Jack, seems like my career as a stripper all the years to finance my triathlon career finally paid off. World Championship podium. Thanks a lot. Thanks to everyone, and probably we're gonna do a podcast about it. So first of all, I made sure I had a little gap after the swim just to make sure I have the fastest bike split. You know, it's just like with going for Strava comps, we always have to start at the back and finish at the front. So Ironman 70.3 World Championship in Lahti in Finland. Done and dusted, and what a race it was. Don't even know where to start. It's been my focus since the beginning of the season, and I'm really proud that my coach Dan and I managed to actually really be able to peak my shape for this race. thank you to Dan Lorang that this training really worked this way. The race week was really good. I was enjoying myself in Finland. Really like the country and everything here. The people are super nice. On race day, I was actually not as nervous as I was this year already before other races. I kind of felt really confident. Of course had pressure on myself that I want to perform well, but I really from my shape I felt so confident that I actually took down from my nervosity. And that was quite helpful because I could easily finish my breakfast, which I sometimes can't before the race. It was definitely a really good decision to not race the PTO Asian Open in Singapore the week before, as literally everyone who came back from Singapore had was sick and had something with the stomach. So that's why obviously Christian. For example, didn't perform so well, or Jason West couldn't even get to the start line, which is of course sad because when you're at the World Championship, you want to race the best in the world in their best possible shape. But obviously, picking the races and where you want to perform well and which you should skip for it, which races you can risk is obviously part of the game. So and you can only beat everyone, anyone who is racing. But yeah, coming to the race. So on the swim, I started on the complete left side, second position from the left next to Ben Canute. And we jumped in the water. I knew I wasn't able to keep Ben's feet, and he was even actually swimming to the right side while I just kept a straight line to the first turning buoy. In the beginning I didn't have too much fight, but I also didn't have anyone in front of me, so I was kind of swimming my own rhythm, or tried to find my own rhythm, swimming my own pace, while I think there was a lot of fight going on the right hand side of me. The left side is actually not my favorite starting position as I'm breathing to the left, but I also didn't want to get to the complete right. I got called third onto the pontoons. I would have had the choice. But I didn't want to get to the complete right because I thought it was a longer way to the first turn buoy. And done on the first turn buoy, I actually was slowing down quite a lot because there was so much fight going on in front of me. Kind of had a little rest there, and then after the turn buoy really went really hard for a few hundred meters. To catch some feet from what I thought was the front pack, as I saw the leading kayak wasn't too far ahead, and from there on it was a really hard and fast pace for sure, but I stayed in contact basically with the front pack, and I think I was right at the end of it. So I came out 26 seconds behind the first guy, which I thought was Justus Nieschlag. Behind me there was a 20-second gap to the next group. My first transition then took a little bit longer as I decided to take a bottle into my suit for aerodynamic advantages. Cost me 3 or 4 seconds, but saved me probably a bit more on the bike. And then on the bike I was just trying to be conservative but still wanted to catch the first group or the front as soon as possible, because I knew with all these motorbikes, I could see it from the far. I was 30 seconds behind the front, and I could see how was there just don't know, maybe 8 motorbikes driving next to the front pack. So basically the first guy didn't have any advantage and had to push the power required. But if as soon you were in second, third, fourth, fifth, you usually had a motorbike next to the guy in front of you, which gave you an even bigger drafting advantage than it already is anyway with the 12-meter rule. So I think I was pushing 360 watt average on this first 25k. Try to get as aero as possible, conserve as much energy as possible, and then I caught the front. I think after 25k, didn't rest a lot at the back. Immediately went to the front, tried my first attack, couldn't get away. Realized that first of all, the other guys, of course, really strong cyclists as well. A lot. Also didn't want to burn all my matches with this first attack after only like 30 kilometers. But then also, as soon you had like a bigger gap, there was like the broadcast motorbike always like slotting in behind you and kind of pulling the group back. So that was a bit annoying, and also the 12-meter rule is just not, shouldn't be the standard anymore. Like, we are going so fast that you have such a huge drafting advantage with 12-meter. We just really need 20-meter at every race, also at the Ironman races. We could have easily done it on the course, on that course today. There was so much place, and yeah, especially on that courses. They basically only like 700 meters of elevation gain, but all rolling hills. We were going so fast, so often over 50 kilometer per hour, and then when you're like third or fourth position, everyone riding with 12-meter, and you have a few motorbikes also on the side, you barely have to pedal anymore. That's something what the PTO is really doing well and makes the races much more fair. But yeah, on these races you just have to go with it and plan it in your tactics. So obviously I did that as well, and I was also trying, of course not lead all the time. I was changing a lead with Mathis Margier. He was also, I knew that he is a really strong cyclist, and I basically was waiting for him to attack as well, and then try to follow that, and hopefully we could get away from the group, and he did attack like halfway through. That was a really hard attack, so definitely way harder than my attack before, and I think I had to push like for 460, 470 watts for over a minute, just to get back to the like 12-meter behind him. And I think we even had like a small gap for a moment, but eventually he wasn't able to keep up the pace. I also wasn't really able to respond, as I was also still recovering from his attack. So the guys kind of caught back up. From there on, it was really tactical. Sometimes the pace was actually really slow and easy at the front, and sometimes I was still trying to at least go to the front and push really hard without actually attacking, and at least push like the uphill sections really hard, so I know the guys behind me have to push more or less the same power up there, and at least make everyone as tired as possible for the run, and hopefully make myself not as tired as them. And it was like maybe like 7k before the finish of the bike, where I tried another attack to maybe get a few seconds into transition, and I was actually able to get away with Mathis on my wheel, and I think we just had like a 10 or 15 second gap to the other guys, like Jan, who else was in our group, was Jan Stratmann, Rico Bogen, Joshua Lewis, and Justus Nieschlag. And in the beginning was still also Max Sperl. I think he dropped when Mathis attacked halfway through. So yeah, the beginning was 7 guys and 5 Germans, and in the end was like 6 guys and 4 of them were Germans. And when it came off the bike in first position, I have to say the last climb, there was like a climb to the second transition, which was maybe like 500 meter at 7 or 8% average. And the crowd there was really amazing. Like, I was pushing really hard up there, almost like 500 watts, just because I'm going on 1 by. So I can 1 by 56 at the front, so I kind of had to. But yeah, I was really getting goosebumps with the crowd cheering on me, especially going in there as on first position. Oh yeah, my bike average power I think was about 338 watts. But if you're interested in that, you should definitely check out everything on Strava. There are all the details about the swim bike and run, including heart rate on the run, which was measured over the watch though, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it looks pretty accurate. Then I had a second transition. Went out onto the run course right with Mattis. Yeah, felt actually really good from the beginning. I knew that I have to find my rhythm for the run. Not I know I was thinking that Mattis would run way stronger than me, so I was just trying to follow him as long as possible, and then eventually when he dropped me after the first long climb, which was the loop was like 3 kilometer basically uphill and 3 kilometer downhill, and then like a flat section at the lake and slightly uphill back to the finish, and two run laps. Yeah, I was with Mattis until the top of the first climb, so until kilometer 4, and then Rico Bogen just came flying past us, and he was just so much faster. And I wasn't even thinking about trying to go with him. Mattis though was actually thinking about it, so that's why he dropped me there as well. And I just like, okay, I just stick to my own pace. It's a good pace which I can keep until the end. And I have to say this course really suits me with like these uphills and especially also the downhills, where I think I'm a good downhill runner, as I'm really coming over my cadence. And I really love the course. Also the crowd on the run course was so amazing. It was really motivating. It's just such a big difference if you have a world championship in Europe compared to the last two 71 World Championships in St. George, where the crowd was still good, but in Europe it's just something completely different, and you have just so many spectators along the whole run course, and it was super motivating. And I was basically running in that third position for quite a while. I knew I can't get slower because Jan Stratman, who was in fourth position at that moment, was also running really well, really strong, was only like 20-30 seconds behind me. So if I want that podium, which I thought at that moment was definitely in reach, which I wouldn't have thought before the race, I really need to keep up that pace. And in the second lap, I on that upper section, I actually started to get closer again to Mathis, and tried to actually caught him at the top of the climb right before we were going downhill again. And of course that gave me a few extra percent in my performance, and I just tried to drop him and survive until the finish. But I felt really strong on the run, and it was definitely my strongest, not only my strongest overall triathlon performance, but also my by far strongest running performance. I think on that half marathon I had a 3:25 average pace, but with over 200 meter of climbing. So really happy with that. I think I even got like 7th or 8th best running time, and could keep the second place until the finish, and super happy with that. Super happy for Rico Bogen. Congrats to him again for the World Championship title. It's just really amazing for him. Really happy for him, and of course also for Jan Stratman, really good friend of mine, for third place. And it's a German podium sweep. I think no one would have ever guessed that before the race. It's so crazy, and definitely some history there. So second in the world. vice world champion. Now it's, yeah, the race was this morning. It's now, I think, yeah, 7 hours after I finished, and it's slowly starting to sink in, slowly starting to believe what I did there. The funny thing is, this like this feeling. Also funny that like Sebastian Kiele sent me a voice message before and congratulated him. He congratulated me for my race, and also told me that he knows that feeling when you're getting second in the world, but there's another stronger German in front of me, being world champion. It's a bit of a strange feeling, because obviously you want to be the best of your country as well. But there was nothing I could have done different today, given all the race situation and everything. And Riku just have 100% the well-deserved World Championship title, and I left it all out there. I showed a really well, my best ever performance on a 70.3, and it was enough for second place, and I'm more than happy for that. We're definitely going to have a few drinks on that tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed this race recap video. Thanks to Max behind the camera for coming along and filming everything. And yeah, hopefully we'll be back in Lahti in Finland once again. And yeah, don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Thanks everyone.